right, I'll call the planning commission meeting to order for February 25th, sorry.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So we started the meeting at 7:05. I know, I apologize, we're late. Okay, we're going to go to item number 4, which is approval/amendments to the agenda.
Roll call?
I'm sorry?
Roll
Oh, roll call, sorry.
Roll call.
Oh, wait a minute, roll call, and we don't, Chris Hiltonen is excused absent, and Harold Bain is excused absent. No laughing, Whitey.
So Harold Bain excused absent. Whitey Simon? Here. Mark Bouchard? Here. Chris Hiltunen is excused absent. Christine Holcomb?
Here.
Robert Musling here. Wayne Torno?
Here.
Margie Ferris?
Here.
And Kathy Schweikart.
Here, thank you. Item number 4 is approval/amendments to the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Whitey Simon?
Aye.
Harold Bain is excused absent. And Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Chris Hiltunen is absent. Christine Holcomb?
Yes.
Robert Musling, yes. Wayne Torno?
Yes.
Margie Ferris?
Yes.
And Kathy Schweikart.
Yes. Item number 5, approval of minutes of January 28th, 2026.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of January 28th, 2026 Planning Commission as submitted.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Whitey Simon?
Aye.
Harold Bain is absent. Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Chris Hiltunen is absent. Christine Holcomb?
Yes.
I'm abstaining. Wayne Torno?
Yes.
Margie Ferris?
Yes.
And Kathy Schweikart.
Yes, thank you. Item number 6 is new business. Item 6A is 5280 Point Trouble Road, SLU, change of use to general contractor's office as well as in addition to the building. Karen?
So the Planning Commission has received a special land use request at 5280 Point Trumbull Road. It is a special land use because contractors' offices are considered a special land use in this district, and so due to the change in tenant moving in there, or the owner of the property, they are a contractor's office, so this is being presented as a special land use. The property contains a non-conforming building because it's on a corner lot. They have 2 front yards, and they did receive variances because they would like to put an addition towards the back of the building, but that would also encroach on the front yard on, I believe it's Ainsworth Street. They did receive those variances. So they are basically extending an addition in line with the current existing building, but just towards the rear. Aside from that, they do meet all the C3 district regulations. They're going to have a fenced area in the back. The fence meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance. They provided adequate trash receptacle and screening information. Their lighting and parking and loading all meet the zoning ordinance requirements. The only outstanding item is, because they're a contractor, their Section 2021 dictates the special provisions for contractors, and they just need to confirm that they're going to meet those standards, such as required outdoor storage of motorized vehicles, generators, or other equipment used in connection with the business shall be contained within a screened area of the lot. And again, they have a screened area in the back. Materials used in connection with the business shall be confined to a screened area or within an enclosed building, and no outside work in connection with the business shall be permitted except for emergency conditions for which approval by the zoning administrator is required. And again, we just need the applicant to confirm that those standards are met.
Thank you, Karen. Is the applicant, or would you please come forward and state your name?
Good evening. My name is Herb Blackstock. I'm actually the architect for the client. And I guess the only thing I'll speak to are the two outstanding items. The only thing that they will store in that area are their trucks and trailers and any miscellaneous equipment. And they will not be doing any work outside, to my knowledge. They're primarily interiors. They do cabinetry. It'd be difficult to construct cabinets outside, so all of their work will be done inside the building.
So you have a screened-in area for,
Correct. There's a fence that's proposed that's going from the west corner, the northwest corner of the building, all the way along the north property line. Then it'll turn down the west property line and almost in the middle of the building, then head east. So I guess the entire, the northeast corner of the property is fenced in for that area.
There's one thing apart from the site plan, the fire department station is north of there, and occasionally, not occasionally, but probably every couple of months, they do a flow testing. They run the lines across the road. So that's pretty much blocked off for the portion of a day, most of the day. So they should be aware that that happens occasionally. But notices do go out when it is going to happen.
Okay.
So that'll impede his deliveries.
That's fine. Their primary drive is off of M29 anyways.
any board members have any questions?
Very comprehensive drawing. I know.
Thank you.
I know John real well, and he's pretty meticulous with this. So
Karen, it's
I wish they
correct,
were all like this.
because this is a
Or
special,
maybe not.
Full size.
Yeah.
okay, guys. This is a special land use request, correct?
Correct, so you guys
So-
will have to confirm that it meets the special land use criteria.
Which is on page 23 of our packet, which is items 1 through 7. So if everybody could, if you haven't already, review that.
I do have it's a cabinetry company. Do they manufacture cabinets, or do they are they more of a remodeling type business?
They do remodeling and custom build of cabinets. Actually, they built my cabinets for me in my home.
Do they finish the cabinets on site in the building though?
I think it depends on what cabinet it is. I mean, sometimes they purchase them and bring them in, but they, to my knowledge, they attach like plastic laminate to countertop, they make
Yeah.
countertops and, things like that. They don't work in stone, to my knowledge. They're not cutting
Well,
granite.
I just know that, like, some of the adhesives and, once you start spraying, some of the finishes, the flammability of them is quite high,
Yeah, I don't,
so it's,
at this point, we're waiting to work on construction drawings. I haven't
Yeah.
received the equipment layout for the interior as of yet.
And I think in the application, he states that just a little bit, but it doesn't specify explosion-proof cabinets for flammable liquids. So I'm not sure that he needs that or not, but it's something to take a look at, and
Yeah,
may want him to put it in later date. We'll probably do an inspection anyways, once it gets up and running.
yeah, if the quantities justify it, we'll call it out in the equipment
Yeah.
plan once we go to
And
construction.
also, do you have a dust collector in there for the sawdust?
I'm sure he does.
Okay.
He's relocating his existing facility, so, to this new location, so.
I like it.
So if I look under special land use criteria, number 1, I don't know if everybody's had a chance to look over this. Number 1, will be in accordance with the general objectives, intent, and purposes of this ordinance. Number 2, will be in accordance with the goals and objectives of the Clay Township Master Plan. 3, will be designed, constructed, operated, and maintained in harmony with existing or intended character of the general vicinity, and that such use will not change the essential character of the area in which it is proposed. 4, will not be hazardous or disturbing to existing or future uses in the same general vicinity and in the community as a whole. 5, will be served adequately by essential public facilities and services such as highways, streets, police and fire protection, storm water drainage, refuse disposal, water and sewage facilities, and schools or persons or agencies responsible for the establishment of the proposed use shall be able to provide adequately for such services. 6, will not create excessive additional requirements at public costs for facilities and services and will not be detrimental to the economic welfare of the community. 7, will not involve uses, activities, processes, materials and equipment, or conditions of operation that will be detrimental to any person, property, or general welfare by reason of excessive production of traffic, noise, vibration, smoke, fumes, glare, or odors. So we, as the board, need to make sure that this project fits in with those 7 that I just read to you, or read out loud to everyone. Okay? Any further questions, comments?
I've got a comment.
Sure.
And I guess I'm going to get on my horse, because this drives me bonkers. Page 27, that has nothing to do with the permit here, but it's the water department continuously kicks the can down the road to St. Clair County, and we never hear anything. Does anybody know what the procedure is? Who's supposed to follow up on this? Where does it go when it goes to St. Clair County? I mean, this keeps coming up, and, I don't think it's an issue with this one, but it came up with some that were, within the last year, and
Gary, can you help us with that or not?
Maybe it'd be a good idea to send one of these to the road commission. Instead of just to the water department. Because I see that too a lot, that we get that standard answer that it's St. Clair County.
yeah, and you never hear anything more on it.
Because it just blankets that. So I think that would be a good suggestion, that we send one of these to St. Clair County Road Commission.
I'll take it on, and I'm going to start with the water department and find out who they send it to. I mean, what happens? You write this down on here, that's wonderful, but do you actually send it to them? And if so, who do you send it to? And do you request a comment back? I mean,
It's their follow-up.
yeah, this thing just kind of goes into a black hole.
I've never seen anything back from St. Clair County.
Let me take it and I'll go down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
And I'll report back at the next meeting. We'll see
I appreciate that, thank
how
you so much.
frustrated I
We
get
may
or what
want
I
to take it
find
to the
out.
Drain Commission too, that I believe Muskrat Run is a county, or a township road, not county.
Well, Skip, you contact who you think you would like to see what information you can gather and report back at the next meeting. How's that?
Yep, I'll do it.
Thank you, Skip, appreciate that. Any other comments, questions? Well, then, I believe we would need a motion, if anybody's interested in doing that. Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
I'll make the motion if I can figure out how to make it.
We'll help you along, and Karen's here to help us too. Right, Karen?
Yeah, I guess I would make the motion that we approve the special land use for 5280 Point Trumbull Road. I don't know if I need to add anything else on that.
I would include why you are approving it.
Okay. Well, I think it's a good idea.
How about it meets the seven?
A statement confirming what it meets in your ordinance, a general statement. A lot of communities like to say it meets the required, it meets, we believe it meets the requirements of their special land use criteria. You have to make some mention of the special land use criteria.
Okay, I guess it meets the special, or meets the requirements of special land use criteria.
Okay, so the motion would be to approve the 5280 Point Trumbull Road, special land use, with after acknowledging the fact that it meets the 7 criteria.
Yeah,
for
it meets the
special
7
land use,
criteria, special land use criteria.
which has been read into the record.
Yep.
Okay.
Support.
So we have a motion and support. Everybody understand the motion? Yes. Karen, you okay with how we phrased it? All right, we'll have a roll call, please. Once you get done writing.
And then I have another page, but we'll do. So Whitey Simon? Aye. Harold Bain is absent. Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Chris Hiltunen is absent. Christine Holcomb?
Yes.
Robert Muesling, yes. Wayne Torno?
Yes,
Margie Ferris?
Yes.
And Kathy Schweikart?
Yes. All right, I believe we got the stamp. So we're going to need a signature from you, okay?
Okay.
Do you have a sync page? Do you need to put both of them together? Karen?
Not really nice.
No, I
No, we
think.
have.
About time.
They go
We
together?
just need the site plan, don't we?
Years ago, back in the.
I don't have a mistake.
Buy that place. They used to be a gift store. They had an Indian TP out.
Oh, I remember.
And they were selling it. So I went and looked at it. There's a reason everybody sells something.
Yeah.
This doesn't have the
No.
signatures. This is not,
ZBA one.
this is not the right stamp.
Okay, I'm sorry, we have the wrong stamp. Unless somebody can get us into the right stamp, can you possibly get us the right stamp out of your office?
Where can we find it?
It should be with Olivia.
Oh, Olivia?
Is this one
That's the ZBA one. Yes.
zoning administrator? or
Zoning administrator.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be
Supposed to have the signatures.
secretary and applicant. This is the wrong one. Do you know where she keeps them by chance?
I'm gonna look.
Okay.
They're not over here, are they?
It should be a stamp that says, it will say, I'm sorry?
There's not, it wouldn't be sitting over here at all, would it?
Usually I see it on her desk.
I don't think it would be out here.
It doesn't look like there's any.
Does anybody want to stamp?
Yeah, and then you can just stamp away. Exactly.
No, it'll be one like this, it'll say secretary, chairperson, and applicant.
Okay.
I'm sorry for the delay.
If you have her number, you might want to give her a call.
Let's see if she can find, or let's see if he can find it first.
Yeah, let me know.
Do we want to wait, or should we go on to,
shouldn't take long.
No, you can.
okay.
I'm on these commissions, so I understand.
Okay, so before we proceed on to the next items under new business, Chris, would you be willing to read the public comment? Sure. Here you go.
Public comment rules. 1, all comments must be made through the chairperson. Comments directed to the applicant from the audience are prohibited. 2, individuals wishing to speak have time limits. 3 minutes for each member of the general public and 6 minutes for a spokesperson of a larger group, such as a subdivision association, condo association, business group, and similar groups. 3, anyone wishing to speak is asked to sign the sign-in sheet provided. However, anyone wishing to speak will be given the opportunity. 4, each individual will be allowed to speak once. It will be the chairperson's decision as to whether rebuttal comments will be allowed. 5, citizens may appoint a spokesperson to represent those who agree on a point of view. 6, public comments on a specific public hearing request should be made during the public hearing for that item.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, ma'am.
It just came to my attention that, did we open a public hearing for the special land use?
No, we did not. I thought it was site plan special.
Go back and do that, and
Okay.
then restate the motion again for approval.
Okay, let's open that back up at 7:24. Special land use for 5280 Point Trumbull Road. So,
Any public?
yeah, any public wishing to make any comments regarding this special land use, please come forward. See no one present, was no one present earlier, just to note that for the record when we started at 7:05. So, We already had the representative speak on behalf of the applicant. We had Karen already speak on behalf of it, so we'll close the public hearing at 7:26-ish. And do we have a motion that we need to remake, please? And thank you.
Oh, boy.
So I believe Skip made the motion.
Yep.
That was to approve the special land use for 5280 Point Trumbull Road as it met all the special land use requirements, items 1 through 7, which we read into the record. And I don't remember who supported it.
I supported.
Chris supported it. At this particular point, do we have any comments from the board? Hearing none. I'm going to ask for a roll call again, please.
Whitey Simon,
Aye.
Mark Bouchard,
Yes.
Christine Holcomb,
Yes.
Robert Muslin, yes. Wayne Torno,
Yes.
Margie Ferris,
Yes.
and Kathy Schweikart.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Karen, for bringing it to my attention. Although Chris did bring it to my attention, I was stuck onto site plan, not special land use, so my apologies on that one. Okay, we're going to go on to item 6B, which would be section 3.01 accessory building structures and uses. Karen?
Close it.
I did, but I'm going to open the public hearing at 7:27.
Tonight, we're having a public hearing on an amendment to Section 301 accessory building structures and uses. We've corrected some language to reference the correct subsection, as well as some a spelling error. And the substantial edit is to subsection number 9. We are making the public aware of a separate section, which is 324, but we're referencing it in here. If the height of an accessory building exceeds the height allowed in the zone where the building or structure is located, then side yard dimensions shall be increased by not less than 2 feet for each 1 foot the building exceeds the height allowed in the zone concerned. See section 324. This edit was recommended through conversations from our building official, where awareness of that other section really gets lost when it comes to accessory buildings. So we want to reiterate that here so the public's aware of what their options are.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Karen. Is there any member of the public who would like to come forward on this public hearing and speak? I see no one present in our audience out here, so I will close the public hearing at 7:28. And board members, what's your pleasure? Do we need a motion?
Do we now need to send this to the township board could we make a recommendation to the township board, or do we?
Recommendation, or we just approve it? Recommendation.
I'll make a motion to recommend to the Clay Township Board to approve proposed amendment changes of February 2026, and amendments of February 2026, I don't know, it's a PH notice, to section 3.01 accessory building structures and uses.
That's the only one. Doing them all separate.
Do it separate?
We're going to do them all separate.
Should we put the paragraph number down?
Paragraph
We have
number?
3.11.
It's section 3.01.
3.01.
Section 3.01 accessory building structures and uses.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please, when you get a chance.
Whitey Simon,
Aye.
Harold Bain is absent. Mark Bouchard,
Yes.
Chris Hiltunen is absent. Christine Holcomb,
Yes.
Robert Muslin, yes. Wayne Torno,
Yes.
Margie Ferris,
Yes.
and Kathy Schweikart.
Yes, thank you. Okay, before we proceed on, we're going to get some signatures from you. How's that, okay? give that back to Hank and sign. I'll give you my pen. And where it says applicant. Yeah. Sorry, we'll get this out of your way. Yes, and one more, you're gonna have to sign. And then you get to keep one. Okay, you get to keep one. Thank you so very much. Good luck with the project.
Everyone, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your patience. Can you give those back to you? We're going to do all of them separate.
Okay.
So, yeah, hold on one second, let's just.
Gotcha.
We got a lot of paperwork going, hold on.
Oh, and that's gonna be.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right, I am going to move on now to the second public hearing, which will open the public hearing at 7:30 for section 3.21 recreational animals. And I'll ask, no, hold on, page 41, 42, 43.
We did 3.01. Oh, 3.21, what? They're not numbered consecutively. We go from 3.11 to 3, or we go from 3.21 to 3.11.
It doesn't matter, we're just going to go in the order they're in the
Okay.
packet, how's that?
311 is the next one, isn't it?
Hold on, as it goes in our packet, I don't know, do you have page numbers that printed at the bottom?
Yes.
Page 43,
It's 3.21.
at the very bottom is 3.21 recreational animals. Thank you, here you go. And it goes on to page 44. So when Karen has a moment. Karen, we're on to recreation animals, section 3.21.
Sure, so the amendment we're making here is we remove what was item number 1 that basically said you are not allowed to have recreational animals on a plotted, on a piece of property that's part of a plat. And I'd say that's kind of archaic language because I think that meant something in the past. It doesn't have the same meaning now. A plat is just, the way it's looked at now, is just a way that you divided your land at some point. I believe the intention was you don't want to have recreational animals right where there may be more dense development. All that's kind of taken care of by what regulations we put in here, like you have to have minimum acreage as well as what kind of district you're in. So we decided to remove that language saying that you're not allowed to be on a plat because, again, I think the intention is just kind of, it's not there anymore the way it was when it probably was originally developed. So we removed that part. So the way you're amending it, it will read as it does on this sheet of paper right now with the 7 subsections.
Thank you, Karen. Any member of the public wish to come forward and speak on this public hearing? I see no one else present in the room. Public hearing is now closed at 7:37. Board members, any comments, questions, or motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend to the Township Board to approve the revision to Section 3.21 recreational animals.
Any support?
Support.
Oh, wait a minute. We got Margie supporting, how's that? All right, we have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please. I know, we're gonna slow down, I apologize.
Whitey Simon.
Aye.
Harold Bain is absent. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Chris Altoona is absent. Christine Holcomb.
Yes.
Robert Muslin, yes. Wayne Torno.
Yes.
Margie Ferris.
Yes.
And Kathy Schweikart.
Yes, thank you. Moving on to the third public hearing in this section would be opening it at 7:35 for section 3.11 supplementary setback provisions. And Karen?
So we've amended section 311 to remove language that was contradictory to the language that supported having an average setbacks, or calculating average setbacks based on what neighboring properties have. There was some contradictory language that kind of went against that, so we've removed that. So the intent of the setback averaging along waterfront properties would still be, I should say, sorry, I'm just losing my thought right now, that the setback averaging would, intended for waterfront lots would remain as opposed to the other language that kind of contradicted it, so.
Thank you, Karen. Any member of the public wish to come forward and make a comment or about this particular public hearing? See no one present in the audience, close the public hearing at 7:36. Board members, any questions, comments, or motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend to the Township Board approval of a revision to Section 3.11 supplementary setback provisions, number 1, lake, river, or canal lots.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Whitey Simon.
Aye.
Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Christine Holcomb.
Yes.
Robert Muesling, yes. Wayne Torno.
Yes.
Margie Ferris.
Yes.
And Kathy Schweikart.
Yes, thank you. The next public hearing,
Who
I will...
seconded that?
Seconded it?
Yeah.
Who did? Oh, Whitey.
Whitey did.
Whitey did.
Okay.
Okay, the next public hearing, we'll open the public hearing at 7:37, and it's regarding section 20.25 accessory dwelling units. Karen?
So the amendment that we're making to section 2025 is in subsection number 3, accessory apartments. The modifications we made in the language are just to clarify what the parameters are. So for items B, C, and E, item number B, accessory apartment shall only be constructed on a property with a principal structure of at least 1,200 square feet. C, an accessory apartment shall contain at least 420 square feet and shall not exceed 650 square feet. And E, no accessory apartment shall include more than 2 bedrooms. That's all.
Thank you, Karen. Any member of the public like to come forward and comment on this public hearing? I see no one present in the room at this point, so I'll close the public hearing at 7:39. Board members, comments, questions, or a motion?
I got a question.
Sure.
Not on the section we're talking about, but in section 1A, there shall be a maximum limit of 10 newly designed or newly registered accessory dwelling units per calendar year. Anybody know why that is? There's history on it, Gary, or what's?
There is
10
his,
a year?
Huh?
They only allow 10 a year?
That was way back when, was that with Steve Casson? Or was that with Giffords and Webster?
I think it was Giffords.
I think it was Giffords and Webster.
For the issue.
I think we were trying, because people weren't really happy about accessory buildings way back when, and it was not a very accepted process that was, people were going on, so that was one of the things we did to see if we could maybe ease it into
Slow
our
it down.
community. And slow it down and see, keep some control. But I'm going by memory, and Giffords and Webster hasn't been with our community now for, I've lost track now, probably going on maybe 8, 10 years, something like that. Yeah, so that's
I'm
my,
just curious.
that's my best recollection at this point.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay, anybody else? So, questions, comments, or possibly a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, or to recommend to the Township Board approval of the revision to Section 20.25 accessory dwelling units.
So we have a motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing nothing. Roll call, please.
Whitey Simon. Aye. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Christine Holcomb.
Yes.
Robert Muesling, yes. Wayne Torno.
Yes.
Margie Ferris.
Yes.
And Kathy Schweikart.
Yes.
And Harold Bain and Chris Hiltunen are absent.
Thank you. All right, I believe that takes care of all the items under 6B, so we're going to go on to 6C, which is the recertification of the master plan, which is also a public hearing. So I will open the public hearing at 7:40. Karen, do you have anything you would like to help us with on this?
No, I guess just to clarify that, last year, the Planning Commission did the 5-year review of the master plan. And so, based on that, you guys have decided that that plan is still valid, it still stands. The Michigan Planning Enabling Act is really silent on how you go about recertifying a plan. Communities do it all the time, but they don't really exactly say what all the requirements you have to do are after you've done your review, but you do have to document it. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're having a public hearing, so the public is aware, hey, we're readopting the plan that we adopted 5 years ago upon review, and you're doing that via resolution, so we understand that this plan is good for another 5 years. So
Does
that's
that
it.
need to go to the Township Board also?
If that's what you guys had done in the past with your master plan, then yes, it would go to the township.
I believe what we've done is send it to the county and to the township board. That's what we've done in the past, so, thank you. Any member of the public like to come forward for this public hearing regarding the resolution for master plan recertification? I see no one present. Close the public hearing at 7:42. So in our packet, there is a form for the resolution of master plan recertification. So if somebody wants to tackle that, you can fill in the blanks and we can read it into the record. Any takers? Margie, do you have one?
I will make a motion to offer a resolution for recertification of Clay Township Master Plan.
And then you need to
Whereas the Clay Township Planning Commission adopted the current master plan on March 24th of 2021. Whereas the plan was reviewed in 2025, and it was determined that the goals and policies presented in the plan are still reflective of current township conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Clay Township Planning Commission does maintain and affirm the current Clay Township Master Plan as the official policy document of the Clay Township Planning Commission in accordance with the Michigan Planning Enabling Act 33 of 2008.
Any support?
Support.
Whitey supporting. Probably should read. Any further discussion? It then says, "A foregoing resolution shall be adopted at this regular meeting of the Clay Township Planning Commission on February 25th, 2026 by roll call vote as recorded in the official minutes of the session. Upon roll call, the following votes."
So, Whitey Simon.
Aye.
Harold Bain is absent. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Chris Hiltunen absent. Christine Holcomb.
Yes.
Robert Muesling, yes. Wayne Torno.
Yes.
Margie Ferris.
Yes.
And Kathy Schweikart.
Yes. So the resolution is adopted by a majority. I wrote on mine.
Mine's clear.
Should we fill one of these out or ask?
I have the one.
Oh, do you? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 6D, attached accessory structure discussion. Karen?
So at our last meeting, we had a discussion about accessory building standards, and while we have a lot of standards for detached accessory structures, we really don't have many for attached accessory structures, aside from the fact that, for just two sections, it says residential lots with land area of less than 2 acres shall be permitted no more than 2 detached accessory structures. And then there's language that says, an accessory structure may occupy no more than 25% of the required yard, provided that no instance shall the total accessory buildings exceed the floor area of the main building, except as regulated in paragraph 9, which essentially says that you can't exceed 6,000 square feet for general accessory structures. And I guess we've run into an instance where we had a structure that was both an accessory portion and a residential portion, and the residential portion was substantially smaller than the accessory portion. And this was brought to our attention by the building official, where he is correct, like most communities have regulations for attached accessory structures where there is a specific size limitation, whether it can't exceed the size of the principal structure or the residential unit, or only a percentage of it, or sometimes they give regulations for square feet. But I do think this is a good discussion, so we can clarify exactly what is our intention for attached accessory structures in Clay. I've looked at some nearby communities: Ira Township, Algonac, Cottreville, Casco, Port Huron Township, Bruce Township, Washington, and either they have general language about accessory structures, they have specific language for attached accessory structures or garages, attached garages. But again, all of them have, I'd say, more specific standards for when something's attached than what we do in Clay, so we can discuss if we want to explore that or not.
Thank you, Karen. Also, Wayne, Skip, you did some,
Yeah, I reached out to Michigan Township Association, kind of threw it out there on their chat board, if you will, and got a variety of responses on it, from people saying as long as it meets the building code, let them do what they want, to people that really put a lot of limitations on it. It's kind of all in there. And I mean, some townships went into quite a bit of detail, and some of them were based on, how big is the lot, how many acres do they have, that kind of thing. So I think it kind of parallels what Karen found. It just kind of runs the whole gamut, how restrictive you want to be. And I mean, one guy said, don't do anything, don't reinvent things. So.
Olivia provided what you provided to her to us, so we.
Okay.
So thank you so much for doing that. Any other board comments?
I can't get my arms around him. They're all over the size and restrictions that we've gotten.
Gary, do you have any further input, or pretty much what you've already told us, or?
Tell us who passed by.
Well, I think, if we look at our area neighbors, even though the numbers are different, they're all relatively the same. And I think if we fit ourselves somewhere in there, I think the percentages are pretty close and consistent. If we kept our attached accessory structures, in that 30 or 35% of the main buildings, and even put a cap on it, that would be good too. And then if they needed a greater size for specific requirements, there's even some of the townships around us that said, that's when they can go to the ZBA. If they have a specific need, then we can send them to the ZBA and ask for a larger size. And I think it's worth us to put something on the books so that we have something to work off of. Just a bench point, so it's not just running wild. So I would say that somewhere in the 30 or 35%, somewhere in the 12 to 1,500 square foot, that's pretty big, for an attached garage. And if they want to go bigger, let's go to the ZBA.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. Any other comments? I personally like to think about this more, but,
I think so.
I mean, I got what Skip had given us and saw with Karen, but, yeah, I think I need to, just me personally, but what's everybody else's thoughts?
What size did you say? How much of an increase?
He said 30. I didn't say any increase. I
Oh,
just said
no,
I thought you
There's
said
nothing.
15.
No, there's no increase. He was saying that there's nothing really on the books that they want to make, like he was suggesting maybe 35% of the residents.
I say
Attached
just,
structure.
I don't know, I'd just leave it the way it is, let them go to ZBA, as Gary said.
No, there's nothing.
Well,
There's
let 'em go-
nothing currently.
Still let them go to ZBA.
Well, there's nothing to go to the ZBA, right?
Right, they could have again, like what was it? The way it
Because there's
currently
no rule.
stands, you can have a accessory structure, can be 6,000 square feet and a substantially smaller residence. Which again, the accessory, with the intent that your accessory structure should be accessory to the residential living portion,
Maybe those should be defined the other way. The house is the accessory to the,
Yeah, I mean, that's
Barn.
basically, at least visually, that's how it's appearing, so.
What properties would this be affecting? Because once you get out kind of into the country-ish area, I mean, 1,200 square foot's not that big. My barn,
It'd be affecting all the
Type-
residential lots.
because technically, my barn with the lean-tos on it, which were all there when I bought the house, wouldn't even comply. And I have a 30 by 40 barn with lean-to that's 5 foot deep on the back and 6 foot wide lean-to on the side.
But is it attached to your house?
No.
You can have the detached, we have parameters
So this is attached?
for- This is when it's attached.
Oh,
With living quarters inside of it.
okay.
They built a
That's-
5,800.
He wasn't
square
here at the
foot.
last meeting.
No, he was not.
It was, Gary showed us a
Plans.
A
the
plans, thank you.
Our detached accessory structures, I think we've got that written down pretty good.
Okay.
Where when
Yes.
you're greater than 2 acres, where you can have the easily detached 6,000 square foot, unless you're a bona fide farm, then you can go greater than that. But, I think we've addressed that well with increased setbacks. We even have, we did that tonight, the 3.24, where if you're out there in the woods and farther away, get farther away from the side yards, you can go even taller and get these bigger buildings. The main concern here is when we're attached to the main structure, where we just want to get it more in harmony with these barndominiums that are going to be closer to what I think, what a good-looking barndominium is supposed to be. To have some cohesion between what is storage and what is the living quarters. And that's what I'm trying to set some kind of perimeter for. And if they have a greater need for a greater storage area, then that's fine. And let's put that in a provision and that's what our ZBA is for. If you need something bigger, then let's send them down that path. But we have nothing. We have nothing for, these attached structures that limit that. All we have is our minimum square footage for our living quarters. And when it's attached garage, it's unlimited. It's based then on what is your lot coverage, to limit the size of that structure.
So is there any in the township that have been built?
Yeah.
That's what he brought last week.
Well,
the plans.
that's why I'm asking, because I wasn't here last
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
But it was-
No,
So-
There's one on Swartout that it's got a one-bedroom, 1,000 square foot living quarter, and I use that term loosely, but it's 1,000 square foot, which is our minimum size for a living quarter. And then it's got 6,800 square foot storage area attached to it. And over the top of living quarters is open loft for additional storage. So, it doesn't look like a typical barn-dominium. When we look in our newspapers and magazines and you look at what a barn-dominium is, it looks industrial. It looks like a commercial building.
nefarious,
It
it
doesn't
seems.
look like something that's a desirable-looking barn-dominium. And we talked about it with Harold last week. There's one on Orchid that we built, I don't know, a few years ago now, but probably more than that now. But a beautiful building, yes, barn-dominium. But that fits what a barn-dominium, in my opinion, should be. And it's more a ratio of probably as big of a living space as the storage space. So they probably went pretty equal in size, but that equal in size fits that particular situation. And it balanced. It looks good. So, I have my reservations. I'll keep them at this point to myself, but I'm just trying to protect, our residential districts and making sure that we have something on the books to regulate it, maybe just so we can keep a handle on it.
All right, I got another stupid question. So, you want to what's your ordinance for putting an extension on your home? If I want to put a 20 by 20 extension on my home for a family room?
On your family, well, lot coverage, setbacks.
Okay, so when you put an accessory on, what we're talking about here, it would fall underneath some ordinance that is similar to that.
Well, anything that we do here tonight could affect that. If we put a square footage, if that addition was going to be accessory, it could affect how big that accessory could be. And, mind you, 30 by 40 is 1,200 square foot. I mean, that's pretty big to be an attachment onto your main dwelling. That's the size of my barn, it's never big enough, right? But I mean, that's a good size structure.
I think that opened up a whole, that accessory building being turned into a living square footage.
Well, it could be. If it's attached to the house,
Yeah,
you could convert it
right.
into a living space. There would be no problem with that in the building code or
So if
or
we
anything
lessen,
if it's attached to the house.
so if we lessen the requirement for an attached accessory building and not a general addition for a living space,
Well, if it's attached, though, Mark, it can be turned into living quarters.
so is there a standard on the amount of living space you can put on as far as an addition is concerned, as compared to the house?
As far as the building code is concerned, you meet the requirements of the building code, and, like I say, you've got lot coverage, you meet setbacks, of course. any accessory you attach to the house has to meet the same
meet the
setbacks
same,
as the
right.
house.
So,
But I don't think this would affect, that, and it shouldn't be a concern for you.
I'm just trying to shorten this whole process up.
Yeah,
Instead of making anything for an accessory building, just attach it to the residential area, of living square footage.
Yeah, I mean, you can make it living, that's not a problem. If you want to attach it to the house and make it accessory storage, then this can limit that. But like I said, if we turn it into 1,200 square foot or 1,500 square foot, that's huge, that's big. That's not a small number. And we're talking about barndominium, so, I mean, that's kind of what this is catering to. And if you look at a lot of what Karen looked up, and even what you provided, a lot, that one, I forget where it was from. They had big limitations to the number of on the square footage. Where they had parcel sizes, where they kept it to 900 square foot. And when you got larger to 3 acres, 1,800 square foot. So they kept those numbers down too. So it wasn't like they were letting you run rampant just because you had acreage. 5 acres or more allowed you to go to 3,000 square foot. In our detached, we allow you to go to 6,000 square foot if you've got the acreage. If you've got 2 acres or more and you got the property, you can run up to 6,000 on a detached. But, it's just.
So if I had a garage in the front of my house and I had enough acreage, can I put a garage attached to that garage?
Can you?
Yeah.
If it's attached to the house?
Yeah, well, if it's attached to the
It's not in the
garage.
required front yard setback?
If it's attached to the garage,
If it's not in
Yeah.
the required front yard setback?
yeah, if everything meets.
Yes, sir.
So what's wrong with that as compared to this here? I don't get this whole concept, tell you the truth.
It's cheaper
Well-
to build it that way.
Well, that's their problem, not ours.
I guess the question is, what is your property being used for? Is it being used for storage, or is it being used for
Living.
living?
Strictly residential, yeah. Well, I thought what this was strictly residential.
No.
If it's commercial, that's a different ballgame, but residential is where I'm coming
So,
from.
It
I
is
get-
residential. What it was is that 6,000 square foot was storage of this property.
Oh.
Not
He's got
living
a
space.
lot of cars.
Hmm?
He has a lot of cars. And he
my,
does-
my question is,
So I put a 6,000 square foot garage.
is the barndominium that is the problem? Is that
Quit calling it
homesteaded?
A barnuminium.
As
That's
of right
what
now,
we're getting at.
Hold on.
That's
So
what-
it's not a primary
We'll
residence?
get there
So it
quickly.
could be a rental. It is not a homesteaded property. And that's where this really comes down. I mean, if it was homesteaded, where it's like, okay, it's a single guy with a bunch of cars. Terrific.
So, I mean, maybe that's where we need to be going, more towards that, instead of just saying, hey, blanket problem, because that's, I mean, if it's not going out of what the spec is to what, I mean, if it meets our minimum living area and everything else, yeah, even at that, I don't even know, I mean,
I missed the first part of that. The one you're talking about is not homestead, is that what the
Yeah.
question was?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not homesteaded. But I can't, I can't make you live in what you build. You can build what you want, and I can't make you homestead it.
but,
You know.
so, here's my question, is if it met, the interior is the only thing that's not meeting the standard that
No.
you'd be changing, correct?
No, the
Because you're saying about 30%. So if you have 30% of it is living space, the only thing that's going to change is how the interior is finished. The exterior is going to maintain the same.
No, if you have,
How is it not?
and it's, well.
If I'm building a barndominium, the outside is going to be the same, except maybe in one or two doors, whether I'm building it on a ratio, if it's a 6,000 square foot building, if I'm building 3,000 square feet of it as storage, or 5,000 square feet of it as storage, the exterior of the building is going to maintain the same look.
Well, if you build a building that size, it comes down to ratio. So if your living quarters, though, is established at a certain percentage, then that's all we're saying, is that whatever the percentage of living space is, or a maximum of square footage of storage. So if we're going with 30% or 35% of the storage, it can be, that much of your living space. So your living space is at 1,000 square foot, then your storage can be 35% of that 1,000 square foot, or 1,200 or 1,500 or whatever you decided on. But then all of a sudden you can't have this 6,000 square foot building unless you make the living quarters inside.
But that's what I'm saying. If I'm going to build a 6,000 square foot building even,
Just change it to
or a 3,000 square foot building, if I have to maintain a certain area for living space to storage, the exterior, if you're doing a barndominium, besides maybe an extra garage door or two and a couple windows for locations, the exterior of the building is not going to change. The only thing that's going to change is the ratio on the interior of use. So it really has no, aesthetically, outside, it has no difference.
I agree with you.
So it's kind of a moot point, in my opinion.
No, it's not. No, it's not, though.
Well, it is.
How? Because on the interior, come on the interior of it, that larger area is going to be living space, not storage. It's going to be partitioned. It's going to have fire separation between the storage area and your living space.
Yep.
Right?
But aesthetically, it does not affect the property, the way the property is being used.
If you're going to put extra living space on it, such as that barndominium, it should be rezoned as multi-living.
Well, the only thing that I would even, and it goes back, is if you're gonna if we want to do something for percentage-wise, for a ratio, the only thing I could see is saying, if you're over this ratio, you have to be homesteaded. But as soon as you go to sell it, that's a moot point anyways.
Yeah. We
But
can't make people live in what they build. We can't.
But that's what I'm saying. Aesthetically, I get the inside, it changes the inside and the proportions that it's inside. But if I want to live in a building that I put up that meets the minimum living criteria that we have, and it has 4,000 square feet of storage, that's my choice. It goes back to, you can't force somebody to live in. I mean, it's
Kind of with him.
aesthetically, it does nothing to the property on the exterior of the property, because if I'm building a barndominium, it's going to be maybe cultured stone up 3 feet for a certain amount of area. You're going to have steel siding and shingles, or a steel roof.
That's the nature of a barndominium. It looks like a barn, but on the inside is totally different, right? On the inside, you're going to have living quarters, and you're probably going to have a larger storage area.
Let's put it this way. Essentially, the whole reason why you'd build a barndominium is because you can get a larger square footprint for a lower price. Because the construction of a barn-type building is cheaper than building. So,
That's
I mean,
part of our consideration.
Yeah, I mean, but you're changing the inside of the building, but without, the outside aesthetics, you're changing some windows, because if you have a certain amount of living space in it, you have to meet the minimum requirements for building code, for glazing and everything else, right? So you're affecting windows and garage doors, is essentially what you're changing on the exterior of the building. I get what you're saying on the inside, but if I can build 1,000 square foot house on a piece of property and then build a detached structure on it that goes up to so many square feet, what's the difference if it's detached or attached?
28-inch footings.
I think the difference between whether it's detached or attached is, if it's attached, this is your principal building. This is your principal structure. And if your principal structure is substantially more storage than living space, I think that is an issue for, is this supposed to be residential? You could have a barn that is far bigger than your primary residence, but your primary residence is still considered the principal structure. Typically, you can't put up a barn used for residential purposes unless you have that primary residence. So if you're having a residential building that's substantially not residential as a single building, I do think that's an issue, because again, you can have that substantial square footage as a detached accessory structure. Almost all communities that I work in, if you have an attached garage or an attached accessory structure, you're limited to what is the square footage on your ground floor, or a percentage of the gross square footage of the home. There is a substantial limitation, and I do see that it's odd. You have all these regulations on detached. When it comes to attached, obviously this is something that was created before barn dominiums, and thinking you're probably just going to, I think the assumption is you're going to have a garage. But again, if that garage is becoming substantially far bigger than the principal residence, I do think it's starting to question, well, what is the primary use of this property if your principal structure is primarily storage? I guess as your planner, that's how I'm seeing it. And just looking at other communities that do have attached, they have, the goal is to still keep the residence the primary purpose of the site.
So how are you going to address the a regular construction with 42-inch footings compared to 28 footings for a accessory structure?
Well, and if you have it attached in clay, don't they have to still meet 42?
Well, 42-inch foundation is still required. And in a barn-dominium, in barn post and beam construction is permissible in the code. So
with 42 inch,
you can run posts down 42. You don't have to be on a continuous trench footing.
Yeah.
You can run posts down 42 because post and beam construction is addressed in our Michigan Building Code.
How far apart?
It depends on the construction you're doing.
See, I don't agree to it. I don't like it. It's attached to the principal residence. The residence was built on 42-inch footings. If you have a building that's going to, or an extension is what I'm calling it, it should be 42 inches.
The posts are down 42?
Not post build.
Okay.
Not post build, 2x4, or 2x, regular
Mark,
construction.
the Michigan code is the minimum. And that's what we inspect against, is the minimum code standard.
We're going to run into so many problems with this, it's ridiculous.
Okay, that's by the state of Michigan, not by me or Clay Township, that's the state of Michigan.
I agree with him. There should be something.
Well, we've had some discussion. We got 2 board members missing. I know Chris Hiltonen was here and saw the plan. It might be helpful if you saw what Gary's talking about, if he had the plan.
I'm done. I'm
That
done.
building, Barbara, was actually encapsulated inside of the pole barn.
No, I know what a
Yeah.
barndominium is. I know, I am 99% sure I know it has fancy gates out front and everything else. I'm pretty sure I know but that's what I'm saying. We're discussing about, and I get, like I said, I get it. I get you talking about trying to say principle for, are you living on this property or are you using it for storage? I get that. But what's the difference if you're on a piece of property that, just say it doesn't have any requirements for size? Because if you have 1,000 square foot house and 5,000 square foot detached garage,
Not detached.
I understand this is attached. I'm using this for an example.
Okay.
If you have 1,000 square foot living dwelling that you're gonna live in, and you have a 5,000 square foot garage that's detached that you're gonna store cars in,
Yes.
what's your primary use on the property? If you have 1,000 square foot encapsulated in a barndominium, and you have 5,000 square foot
Got a lot of cars.
for storage, but I'm just cars, whatever,
It could be anything.
anything, what's the difference? One's attached and one's detached, that's the only difference. You're talking about the use of the property, what it's being used at. They have the same amount of living space, the same amount of storage. The only difference is one's attached and one is detached.
It's all one structure.
It's all one structure. The aesthetics on the outside are gonna be relatively the same. And I get it, you're putting a huge building up there. I mean, I think they did a pretty nice job, if it's the one that you're talking about that I've seen. It looks very nice outside. And I get, yeah, what are they using it for?
But we can ask, what are they using it for? But that's not us. I mean, if they're violating
Here's the
something,
thing,
it's
though.
different.
It's about balance. It's about, protecting the R1, and that's what I'm trying to do
That's
here, okay? Barndominiums are going to look industrial.
So
They're
then,
gonna look like that.
so then
And
no
if this
R1s,
particular
no
one-
barndominiums in R1.
If you can, let me finish, Robert. Barndominiums are gonna look industrial. They're gonna look like that. There's no doubt about it. So if you take this 6,000 square foot barndominium, but make it proportionate, because the primary use is residential on this property. So if we make it proportional and say, because we have nothing that will control this at all, and we say, all right, so your living space has to be at least, or your storage cannot exceed 35% of your living space. So that means if you want greater storage space, you increase your living space within this barndominium, so that the primary use of this building is living, not storage. And we're just trying to get that balance so that this primary building that's being built is for living, not for storage. It's lopsided. It's the primary use of this building is storage, not living. And if you want to have, a detached, whole different animal. If you want to have a detached structure, you can build a detached structure. But the primary use for this
Attached.
property is residential. And if you want to build a primary building, it's got to be residential. That's our ordinance. And I just want to balance that building
Let's do that.
to say, if you're going to build a big building, barndominium, let's balance that building between storage and living. And that's what I'm trying to achieve. What you do in that building, none of my business. but I'm trying to protect an R1 or an RS in that particular case, RS district, residential district, to make sure that we have that balance, that we don't have these giant storage buildings, that residential is a secondary thought on these buildings. And if we can come up with a number and a square footage, something that says, okay, you may have a bigger piece of property, you may have a bigger need for more storage, then come to us with that. And then we have an avenue to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals to say, what is your need? I have 10 classic cars. I want to store in my inside. I'm tired of paying storage. Then we have an avenue for that. But just to build, 1,000 bare minimum living quarters and have huge lopsided storage areas, I don't think that's what we want to see. I don't think that's what we're trying to achieve here. But in the same respect, if you want to build a 1,000 square foot house on that same lot and then put this building detached in the back, then that meets our ordinance. But that's ancillary to the primary use of that property, which is that residential dwelling that sits out in front. I'm just trying to get a balance here. Trying to get some type of regulation that will help us, get a balance between what is storage, what is dwelling, and making sure that we're not lopsided in our thinking, in our ordinance. And if we have a greater need, we have avenues that can help the residents. And when you've got these big properties, we have avenues that can help them with that too.
Okay, we've had a discussion for a while now. I think we have some stuff that we need to maybe think about. We have two more members that are absent. My suggestion is we bring this back next month and we can do a little bit more research, because I personally am not in a position to say yea or nay, because I have some strong feelings. I just have some strong feelings. How's that? I can see both sides, but I'm not sure a barndominium is not the way to go. And if you want to have only 1,000 square foot and it's all in one building versus two separate buildings, it's their property. As long as everything's being built correctly and no one's in, go ahead.
If I can make one more additional detail just to
Sure.
think about. This is primarily going to affect properties that are more than 2 acres. So think about everyone that's less than 2 acres. The rule is that all accessory structures, if you have less than 2 acres, can't exceed the total square footage of your primary residence. So if we're kind of talking about proportions, think about, is there a way to make a similar requirement where, sure, you can have more buildings and maybe a bigger size of a building if you have more than 2 acres, but if you think about what the proportions are limited to for people under 2 acres, think about that respect when you're thinking about things for over 2 acres, because that's what's primarily going to be affected by any changes we make. It's going to affect the 2 acres. But
2 acres and above.
2 acres and above, but knowing what the limitations are if you have under 2 acres and the proportions there. Basically, your accessory structure can't exceed the floor space of your main building. So everything above 2 acres, which is what we don't really have regulations for, aside from you can't be bigger than 6,000 square feet for all accessory structures, which would also lead to, you could have an attached garage at 6,000 square feet. So just something to think about if we're trying to think about proportions and what we see in the township.
Thank you for that added information. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to bring back the issue of 60 attached accessory structure discussion and attached accessory building standards to our next meeting in March for further discussion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Whitey Simon,
Aye.
Mark Bouchard,
Yes.
Christine Holcomb.
Yes.
Robert Muesling, yes. Wayne Torno.
Yes.
Margie Ferris.
Yes.
And Kathy Schweikart.
Yes, thank you. Moving on to item 6E is election of officers. Going to start with secretary position. I'll open the election of officers for secretary.
I'd like to nominate Robert Muesling for secretary again.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second for Robert Muesling. I would ask you if you want to say yes or no to it.
Close nominations.
I'm running out of paper.
I also make a motion.
Hold on a second, we're going to do one at a time, okay? Any more?
So-
Close the nominations.
Who seconded that one?
Whitey?
Whitey.
Whitey.
And now I want to close nominations.
You can't do that.
I was going to say, you can't quite do that just yet, but we can close it now. We're just letting him write, okay?
Railroad goes straight down the aisle.
Okay.
Okay there?
Yep.
Okay, the roll call, please.
Whitey Simon,
Aye.
Mark Bouchard,
Yes.
Christine Holcomb,
Aye.
Robert Muesling, yes. Wayne Torno,
Yes.
Margie Ferris,
Yes.
and Kathy Schweikart.
Yes. We'll open up the nominations for vice chair at this time. Any nominations?
I nominate Christine Holcomb for vice chair.
Second.
So we have one.
Hold on. Mark. Was there a second on that?
I did.
It was Whitey.
Whitey.
It was Whitey. Any further nominations? Hearing none, I would close nominations for vice chair and ask for a roll call when you get a chance.
What if I don't want to?
I'm not asking you the question.
Whitey Simon,
Christine
Aye.
Holcomb.
No, this.
Christine Holcomb,
Robert.
Yes.
Muesling.
Robert Muesling, yes. Mark Bouchard,
With a
Yes.
smile.
Wayne Torno,
Yes.
Margie Ferris.
Yes.
How many
Kathy
yeses does she
Schweikart.
get?
Guesses or yeses, Mark?
Kathy,
Yes, please, I'm sorry.
you're good.
All
I'm not
right.
gonna make everybody sign this, but
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
I'm out of other papers.
Opening up nominations for chair at this point.
Nominate Kathy Schweikart for chair, planning commission.
Support.
You're too slow.
Oh,
Skip was
God.
faster, so we have a nomination support. Any other nominations?
Close nominations.
Whitey, he's going to take over for me.
Got a hot date tonight.
He must have a hot date tonight. Okay, closing nominations. Roll call, please.
I'm coming. Whitey Simon,
Aye.
Christine Holcomb,
Aye.
Robert Muesling, yes. Mark Bouchard,
Yes.
Wayne Torno,
Yes.
Margie Ferris,
Yes.
and Kathy Schweikart.
Yes. How about item number 7, unfinished business? I don't see anything under unfinished business. So we're going to move on to item number 8, planning consultants report. Karen,
I have no additional information.
she looks drained over there right now. I want to go to item number 9, ZBA, which would be Margie.
Yeah, we just had a couple items that we got together last week. One was just regarding 8600 Tinker Bay, another overhang on a backyard on the water.
You know, a lot of those.
We get a lot of them. So this was just an open, unobstructed, covered porch is what it was, and we approved that. Another was something a little interesting that we had a lot of discussion regarding ADUs. We didn't really understand them too much, so none of us have seen them come across our desk. So this is on 2839 Point Trumbull, and what they wanted was to make their ADU above the garage larger than what we usually allow. They would have, they couldn't do a 1,200 square foot detached because of some power lines and
The configuration.
yeah, the configuration. So we did allow, which after we got that all completely understood of what those ADUs are and what is permitted, we did allow them to have the increase above their garage. They're completely tearing it down, everything's going to be brand new. So the garage was going to be there, it literally just goes above the garage. The question came up, and I'll bring that up on public comment, regarding ADUs and how they do they remain ADUs?
You can do it right now if you want, go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Marjorie,
So
what is the ADU?
it's an accessory dwelling unit.
Got it.
So what it is an apartment that you can have on your property. So if your setbacks all meet it, and it can be 1,200 square feet detached, or it can go above a garage. I believe 650, right? Is it 650 max above a garage? Okay. So what happens when they sell? What happens if they pass away? Does it remain an ADU? Is it now, can it now be 2 rentals on a property? There's not, so I was asking, and because there's no deed restrictions, we don't do that, but, if you're running title and you're purchasing this property and it's up for sale, Karen was saying maybe they have to do their due diligence, but if you're getting a title company, where is it coming up that this says ADU on it? And if somebody's buying it and it's now going to be 2 rentals, because right now you have to live in either the apartment or the primary residence of the property. You have to live in one or the other. So when this transfers ownership, does it now 2 rentals on the property? Does it?
I think it's just additional living space. The assessing department doesn't put ADU on their field sheets. Nobody's going to know it's an ADU at the time it was put on. Other than that, it'll be just addressed as additional living space.
So you're
Right, Robert? You were all about this a couple of years ago, I think.
So your ordinance, it requires that at least one owner of record shall occupy either the
Right.
primary dwelling or accessory dwelling unit. And I believe that would be in perpetuity. And on top of that, this still has to go through a special land use process.
Right.
So the township should
Yeah.
have records. And again, we're only gonna do 10 a year at maximum. So I imagine if that property is sold and the owner is not living there, the township should be aware of that, correct? If they're renting them out. And that would
You're asking an awful lot.
be a violation of this, and I don't know what the remedy would be, but I imagine with getting granted a special land use, having to go through that process, I would hope that upon the sale, you would
You
notify
think it
people.
would come up in title
Well,
as a special?
on sale, what you see it is, here's your living space, and now you have a mother's-in-law apartment.
Mother-in-law.
Right.
That's the way it's listed.
All right, but can someone buy it and say, I'm going
Yeah.
to use them both as rentals?
I've never, all the homes I've sold, I've never had a problem with them. But, it's up to the appraiser to come out and appraise it as a non-living space.
No, it is a
So-
living space.
Well, it's a living space, right, but that's what the appraiser is going to say, it is a living space.
Right.
And he's going to put the whole sum together as 1,000 and 2,000.
But
I know,
it
but-
is a special land use, so I don't know if one of these comes up, if planning wants to put some kind of condition on it. Because that
Well,
is possible,
yeah.
but if the concern is what will happen if the current owner applying is no longer the owner of this property.
Right.
But, I mean, it does say if you're having an ADU,
Yeah.
a owner has
Yeah.
to live on parcel.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Well, it's up to the owner, the seller, to list it on his disclosures that it is an ADU.
But if if
But
they
if it's
don't,
sold,
or if
it's
they,
sold as one piece of property. It's not.
it is.
It's not sold as just an apartment or a garage with living quarters. It's sold as
Right,
one dwelling unit. Well,
right.
not
It
one
doesn't have
dwelling
2
unit, but a house.
addresses. Right. There's
Right,
not
it's-
2 addresses.
There's not 2 owners. It's,
No, it is, but right now, our ordinance says you can have 1 rental, but it can be turned into 2 rentals once it makes that transfer.
But a special land use can be revoked if they're not following the rules, right?
That's right, it can be revoked.
So it's
and-
an enforcement type,
Yeah, it would be an enforcement issue.
and it's a
I
rental,
think.
and we have all kinds of rental things out there.
So when they pull title and they would, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'm only thinking like because as a
I
real
don't
estate
know if we
agent,
can
I'm like,
legally-
how would a buyer know that there's a special land use on this property?
You're right, it should be probably listed as a multi-unit at that point in time.
I'm wondering.
I don't
And zoned
know.
multi-unit.
But right now, multi-units, you don't live in one of them, but it is an
Right.
ADU because you have to live in one of the units.
Yeah, you have to live in one unit, I don't know, to be honest, I mean, I guess, planning commission level, we have instances all the time where a tenant moves into a commercial structure, they're somehow told, hey, this is a special land use, you can't just operate as is, you have to apply, blah, blah, blah. And, people are shocked because they're like, I didn't know, so I don't know how to communicate this upon sale.
Yeah.
I think this is just the challenges of if you're moving to a locality, you just have to understand what the local rules are and what you
Have to do your due diligence.
are
and-
allowed not to do. And I imagine if I was selling a property that had an accessory apartment that got approved, I would let the buyer know hey, like, I got this special thing, here are the rules on it.
Well, and if
This
I was
might be
thinking, like, if they passed
advantageous to you,
away
and I might boost my price up
and
because I
their
got this
heirs
special
didn't
thing.
even know, I mean, how is that?
But-
Let's say they passed away and the heirs didn't know that this was a ADU, they just thought it was a nice little apartment that they had, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking, does it come up?
I imagine if it was rented and there is a code, it came to light that, hey, this property has just all become a rental. Maybe the thing is, hey, you can rent out the principal residence. You can't rent out that ADU, so you can only have one tenant on here.
Right.
I don't know
One
what you want to
tenant,
do
right.
with this extra space, but no one can be living there. You
Right.
can't have two.
Hey, Gary, when you issue a permit for a building, what we're talking about now, how do you coordinate with the assessing office? Do you give them any paperwork that's changed from
For this,
yeah,
I mean, this is going to be planning commission approval. And that's how it's going to read out, that, the approval under zoning will be approved by planning commission for an ADU.
well, what about the assessing department?
Assessing department gets a copy of all of our permits, so they are well aware.
Okay, I can ask Bonnie tomorrow sometime.
Sure.
How that works out.
Does the township have a C of O policy for residential rentals, or no?
For rentals, we don't have any.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious if there was an
Short-term, we
extra.
don't have any rental.
The only thing on rentals that we have is a minor inspection to make sure they're safe.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What is the C of O process for residents? Is it periodic if it's a rental, or it's just if it gets built, we'll inspect it and we'll give it a seal and then?
Only for short-term rentals. That's the
Okay.
only rental registration we have.
I just thought it was interesting, there was no rules, we talked about it. No, we have the homeowner that starts the ADU, and that's what it has to remain, but then when it moves on ownership,
That's the problem.
Well, I think Mark's kind of on the right path. I think we just have to cover our butts and say that when we approve it as a special land use, we need to approve it that it's documented in the disclosures upon real estate sale. And so if it's not, then it's between the real estate agents and the buyer and seller. Once it comes up that the township comes and says, hey, you can't rent both units out.
So on the sale of a property,
Yep.
the taxes are usually increased at a minimum of 15%. So at that point in time, when you give that paperwork over to the building department, it probably takes them a few years before they assess the,
well, yeah, that's why
Additional
I
living
mentioned
space.
deed restriction, but, because
And
then.
maybe that can be flagged for the assessor,
yeah.
because everyone will be going to the assessing office with their paperwork that they just bought this house. So maybe having it flagged, at least it'll be an
Or
awareness
flagged on title
to
somehow.
the
I don't know.
owners
'Cause that before it sells, you might want to
that
know.
this is taking
There's no
place.
lawsuits.
So,
I just thought it was interesting that there were no rules.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. Okay.
All right, thanks,
All right,
Margie.
let's move on.
We're going on to item number 10, board representatives report, which would be Mark.
That's a good point, though. Good point.
You're next.
You're up.
Oh, I pass.
Okay, Mark passes.
Watch, keep your eye on Facebook for Monday's trustee meeting.
Oh, God, no. I've heard enough about that already.
That's my comments.
I'm moving on to item number 11, chairperson's report. Other than to say, Olivia, I talked to her with Tanya, and if anybody's interested in any classes, whether it's the upcoming ones in March or whatever, it looks like you need to maybe have to pay first and then get reimbursed after. So, just putting that out there.
Are you going, Tani?
At this moment, I'm not.
Okay.
Not at the moment. I'll let you know if something
with you.
changes, though,
Yeah.
okay?
Guess I would go with you.
Some of them are virtual, though, so you don't have to go anywhere, so. If it's in the Bahamas, I'm going.
Because I'm going to I am going to one.
Are ya?
Yeah, for zoning, for ZBA. I am.
Some of them are zoning planning combos,
yeah.
so there's that. Okay, and thank you very much for everybody, hold on, let me circle my yeses or nos, because I didn't do that right on mine.
Oh, I don't think I said that.
I didn't here, take them back, I didn't circle mine either, that's why I said that. So, other than
I
that,
think the first one I didn't circle.
I will move on to item number 12,
Oh,
planning
you
commission
probably
member
did.
comments. Anybody on the board want to make a comment about anything?
Circle that one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Or not? Everybody's quiet. Maybe we talked enough tonight, maybe. All right, item number 13 is public comments. Anybody in the public like to make a comment? I see no one present at the moment in the public, so I'm assuming not. So we're going to item number 14.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
We got Margie's second. We have a motion to support to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.